Everybody, thank you all for joining today. So if you have any questions as you go through this webinar, please just type them into that questions box on your screen and we'll be sure to get those answered at the end. With that being said, I'm going to kick it over to Alex Burns, who's the Vice President of P3 Propane Safety.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. For those of you that read the invite, I know you may have been expecting Kyle Kerber. He had some unexpected computer problems really literally at the last minute here. So we've got a quick sub in by Shawn Litchfield, who we're also very excited to have. And Kyle and Shawn really spend a lot of time talking with folks about really, what's changed in our system in the last year and demoing that and talking about it. So that's why we brought Shawn in here this afternoon, I'm sorry. He'll talk a little bit about some of the things that we did last year, and then I'll kind of come in, in the second half here and talk a little bit about where we're kind of headed and sort of planning on heading in 2026 as far as P3 goes. So with that, I'll hand it over to Shawn.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. So I'm sharing now. Is that something, can everybody see that, or Alex,
yep,
can you see that?
Okay. Absolutely.
Awesome. So we, made a lot of good progress last year, and certainly don't have the time to show everybody everything, but just going to walk through some of the major things that, we've done from a development standpoint, and it's always based on our client feedback. So these are things that we want to build based on what we're told, because there's value add to our clients. So with that said, the first thing I'm just going to get into is within our photo inspection and site condition reporting, but I'm just going to do it through the photo inspection platform. We've added a couple items here that you'll see at the top. These buttons, SOP for standard operating procedure for photo inspections, but also NFPA 58 guidelines for containers. So when I click on the SOP, the basis here is helping your field team fully understand what basic photos that should be taken at the time of a safety inspection, so that we're really making sure things meet NFPA 58 compliance. So as you can see on the screen, container placement, we want to see 10 feet on all sides, ideally facing back to the structure. Second, we want to see under the dome so that we can see our first stage or integral regulator to make sure that that's installed properly. And second stage regulator would be the final sort of picture that would be required, so to speak, where we want to see 5 feet on all sides to make sure there's no distance requirement issues on that front. And then data plate being kind of an optional field that a lot of folks like to use. And some companies go above and beyond the basic SOP, but we want to provide guidance for those folks that are going with the basic. So in addition to that, your field team has direct access to the NFPA 58 guidelines for both ASME and DOT cylinders. So here, not maybe easy to see on your screen here that I'm sharing via desktop, but when it's on a tablet, on a phone, whatever mobile device you're using, it is a lot more clear. You can pinch, zoom, again, just for reference in terms of what should be set, what shouldn't be set as it relates to the containers or cylinders out in the field. So with that said, I'll kind of back out of that. Another new feature is within our safety inspection platform, where we've added voice to text recognition. And this is in our comments field as well as the serial number field. And I'll just demo this quickly. 123 K5. Great. So we can see it just makes it a little bit easier for your field team to do that. And with technology today, whether it's the icon that you can see here, or if it's just simply the microphone on whatever device you're using, those are ways to go about creating an efficiency in the field for your field team. Not having to type everything in necessarily. This just helps with that process. So again, not only is it there in the serial number, but we have it in the inspection comments as well, when those tend to get a little more lengthy and things like that. So again, just really trying to save time for everybody involved. So let me back out again completely. And the next thing that we've done is kind of specific to Mississippi. We've developed the state form requirement for Mississippi. It is the, I just want to make sure I get it right. The LPG, well, I can't find it here, but nonetheless.
It's like 0065 or something like that, yeah. Yeah.
This is the state form required. So very similar to the Oklahoma Form 4 that we've developed. When you conduct a safety inspection in P3, it will automatically generate the inspection for the Mississippi state form. So when I go in to enter an account number, as long as I provide a Mississippi address, and of course there were two, let me make sure I got the right one, Mississippi, you'll see these prompts will come up. So specific to what the form requires, the prompts will come up. I'm not going to bore everybody with going through every single inspection line item, but you can see there that it pops up so that you can select these items. And in the end, again, just going back to what that final form would be generated, you see it here. This can be then reviewed and sent to the state for approval by them, which you can see down at the bottom is where they're going to either approve, disapprove, or condemn the particular inspection that's been sent in. So that's creating a real, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say not to interrupt, but apparently I'm gonna do that. I just want to make sure it was clear that when you enter safety inspection and then these questions pop up, you continue to answer the safety inspection questions. So at the end of it, although you've really done one set of data entry with a couple of other questions, you actually are gonna have two separate documents that are created at the end. You're going to have your safety inspection and your state form. So you will have both of those PDFs completely separate, but from one kind of run through of data entry. So sorry, just wanted to make sure that was clear.
That's a great point. And that's important for folks, right? Because everybody should have a safety inspection on file. So you're not having to do duplicate entry for both forms. You do one data entry and it will get you both forms set up. It's also typically an insurance company requirement. So you really want to make sure you have that safety inspection on file. And then the last thing that I'll talk about before I kick it back to Alex here is the cathodic protection inspection process, or part of the process that we have added. So again, let me just get the proper account here. So here, what we've done is when you are inspecting a container for cathodic, and it's not necessarily the initial inspection, but it's the confirmation, the periodic follow-up, we got a lot of feedback saying we'd like to understand what the previous inspection date was. So before I get into that, this is the screen where we're just going to confirm all the information that the tank set was done properly and everything meets code requirement according to that. And then here is that cathodic protection inspection entry page where you can see now we have our inspection type. The last inspection was the initial, so we can base it on the confirmation, answer our questions, the previous information about the cathodic inspection that was done previously will be held there for you, so you don't have to update any of that. And then we can go ahead, get our readings. And answer our questions as it relates to these items. Any comments that you want to add? Save and continue, not being a customer facing document, there's no signature required. So it's a very simple entry process on the P3 side where simply the inspector is completing that inspection. So that, again, just a few of the things that we completed last year. There certainly is more, but we wanted to kind of hit you with the highlights. With that said, I will kick this back to Alex so that she can talk about what's coming up this year.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Shawn. Appreciate it. So let me just share this here. Okay, so a couple things, again, just thinking about what we're looking at as we kind of start 2026, and you can kind of see a lot of what Shawn just talked about is really trying to create efficiencies, and so we're really kind of still have our eye on that as well, again this year. So one of the things that we'd really like to do, so this is in mobile, you can do this in desktop as well, but just our plant inspections. Right now, if you were to go in and do a bulk plant inspection, it's going to ask you, do you want to do a monthly or an annual? And they're actually the same inspection at this point. So what we're going to do this year is make it so that the monthly is fully customizable. So that when you come in here and you select monthly, it's going to bring you to whatever you've saved for that particular plant at your company. So you can have, maybe you just have a certain set of questions you want all your plants to answer. Maybe you've got a few specific things based on that plant setup. And then some folks are going to want to ask every question for the monthly. And so you can certainly keep that. But in general, how it's going to work is you'd be able to, now you're going to have a different setup screen, which hasn't been programmed yet, so I can't show it to you, but just try to give you a sense of the general direction we're going, is you'd be able to go in, take a look at all the sections, all the questions, enable or disable any question. So so you're only you're still going to have the same set of questions that's available to you in the annual, but you can reduce that as to whatever you think makes sense for your company for a monthly inspection. As well as we're also going to be adding in some safety related questions, which really haven't been addressed at this point in P3, as well as the collecting and confirming fire extinguisher data. So those are some things that'll be changing with bulk plants in the coming year. And we just know that that's been a really powerful inspection, and we just seen a ton of people using it and really like the way it works. But that monthly just being so comprehensive seems like something that would be really helpful to folks to change that. So we're planning on doing that. Something else that's coming up, this is actually on our dev site right now, so you'll probably see this in our upcoming release, which will be happening in February, is the introduction of what we're calling the P3 Help Center, which we're really excited about. So this is, again, still in dev. Things will change a little bit before it goes live, but you can kind of get a sense of mainly what it's going to look like. So we're just really want to create a resource center for when questions come up, place where you can really go and know there's going to be a lot of helpful information for you. So once you get in here, you'd be able to click in. Let's say you needed a refresher training on how to conduct a safety inspection. So if you hover over, it's going to describe to you what you need. You click right in, it's going to bring you right into YouTube. You can start playing the video. And so right away, just right into exactly how to complete a mobile safety inspection in P3. So there'll be more and more information like that. Some of the information that Shawn already shared is also available, like the photo SOPs, things like that. Basically, how to set up your mobile devices. We'll have short videos available for different devices if you have different questions on how to set them up. So we really just want to make this whole area a real resource for everybody, so you don't always have to call or spend time being confused. Just know that if you've got a question, you can come here and have those questions answered, hopefully pretty quickly. The next thing that we're really excited about, this is really so new to development. The developers just started working on it. There really isn't anything on dev to share at this point, but we're going to do an entire overhaul kind of to our tank asset tracking system. So right now, for those of you that use the activity report, this look and feel is probably familiar to you. We'd like to just make this a little bit easier to navigate. That was honestly, tank asset tracking was one of the very, very first components of P3 that was built. So it just, it's time for a refresh. So we're going to give it a new look. For those of you who are using pooled inventory across different locations that you have, we're going to create some real efficiencies there in how you view that and how you can move things around in your system. So, and then also just adding containers to your inventory will become much easier through desktop as well. So it should be a little easier to kind of come into this page, understand exactly what you're looking at. And then if you want to drill in even further and start looking very specifically at your containers, we just want to kind of display this information in a way that it just is very quick to understand. You can kind of come to the page, understand right away, what's where and what's going on. So we're excited about the kind of handling of containers, and Shawn did talk a little bit about some of the efficiencies that we brought to cathodic entry last year on mobile. We've really got an eye on making some additional changes with cathodic this year. We've just been getting a lot of feedback in ways that would help people. And we know that those, what were seemingly small changes to cathodic last year, made a big difference to a lot of people. And so we appreciate that there's other stuff we can do, and we're just going to kind of continue to keep our eye on containers and container efficiency as we head into this year. So we're excited about, really excited about all of those things coming up. I think just really when we talk about efficiency, one of the main things that I think comes to mind really is integration as well. And so just to provide a quick integration update, last year, we were able to bring a couple of new integrations to P3. We were able to integrate with Agvance last spring, as well as also with Mopica's Cathodic Sentinel as of last summer. So those were two integrations that we really, those were brand new, didn't have those at all prior to last year. And then headed into this year, we certainly know right away, one that people have been asking for a long time is the ads, what we're calling a phase 2 of integration. So phase 1 of integration, just as a refresher, is always from your back office software coming into P3, just basic customer demographics. And so phase 2 often is a passback of some sort of information. In the case of ads, that's going to be photo inspections, safety inspections, interruption of service, the actual documents passing back from P3 once completed onto the customer document pane in ads. So that's actually right now in beta testing with a couple of companies. So we just want to get a couple of people using it, make sure that it works, that it kind of flows correctly. And once we kind of get that confirmed with a couple of different companies, then we'll make that available to everybody who's interested in that. So we're really excited about that. And then on a similar note, very, very similar idea, we're calling it phase 4 with RCC, and this will be very similar, a passback of photo inspections and safety documentations, the actual PDFs, et cetera, going back into RCC. So those will be available in RCC on a daily basis after they've been completed in P3. So those are both things that you'll certainly see in the first half of this year here in 2026 that we think will be really helpful to people. So we're really excited about that, and just think we've got some really good. This is all coming from feedback from folks that are using the system. So we're listening to what people are saying and hope that we can just continue to make P3 more and more valuable. So I think that was really it in terms of just kind of quick update about what we've been up to and what we're kind of thinking about coming up here. So I don't know, Emma, if there were any questions that have popped up at this point.
No, it doesn't look like any questions have come through yet.
Okay. All right, great. Well, wonderful. Like I said, most of what we're talking about here are suggestions that have come from folks that we're meeting with. So if you feel like there's something that you think would be helpful to you that we're not talking about here, definitely, let us know, because we're, the way that we want to build and develop this system is we want to build and develop things that people are going to use. So we wait to hear that it's something that would be helpful to somebody, that will make a difference to the greater P3 community before we just run off and start programming things. So anyway, we'd love to hear from you if there's anything you think that would be helpful to you and your team. So I don't know, Shawn, if there's anything that you wanted to add.
I would just say that to Alex's point, we really engage with our clients on this stuff, and we at a minimum want to meet with them once a year. If it's something that you want to meet quarterly, you want to meet twice a year, you want to meet monthly, we are available. Our job is to make you guys successful with the product and to listen to your ideas. So I would encourage you, if you don't have a meeting already scheduled, to reach out to your P3 rep and get that on the book so that we can meet with you and kind of walk through the things we talked about today and the things that you guys want to see in the future. So I think that covers it for me, though. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, sounds good. Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to pushing some of this out there and getting everybody using it. So have a good rest of your day. Thanks so much. Bye.
Thank you.